Good morning. Welcome, everybody, on this Thursday morning. It's during these times out here that you really have a sense that we have not yet reached the winter solstice, the shortest day in the year, because every morning I come out here, it's just a little darker than the last. We went through that time this fall where I had to bring a light out here. I wonder if I'll have to do the same. We will see. At some point. Not now. Obviously, the sun is about to peak up over on this horizon, but it's pretty low. It's only a little glow over there, but it's enough to film. Thursday morning, and we are in Isaiah chapter 12 this morning, finishing out the week, talking about, again, this whole season of Advent, and which, again, I remind us, that is not only looking to the celebration of the birth of Christ, the nativity, but it's looking forward to his return. You have the first and second Advent, the appearance, the arrival of the Christ, both at his birth and at his return. And so this is foreseen or foretold through this experience with Israel, through their getting disciplined by God for their lack of faith, lack of obedience to the law. And so we've talked about from Isaiah 7, 8, 9, 11, and now 12, about the northern kingdom of Israel that was displaced from the land through Assyria 100 years later. Isaiah is foretelling a time when that same thing's going to happen, and Babylon's going to come and remove the southern kingdom, Judah, all because of discipline. And the Bible tells us that nobody loves discipline, right? In fact, everybody hates it. As a kid, I hated discipline. Every kid hates discipline, right? I'm not talking about just the discipline that when I did something wrong or broke the rules, I paid the consequence for that. I mean, I always felt like that was, 99% just. I knew I was getting something that I deserved because I did something I knew was wrong. We're more talking about the discipline that we learn because of having to endure difficulty. And just growing up, my parents, really wanted us to understand a good, strong work ethic. And so, I hated the discipline of Saturdays being not play days. You just got through a whole week of school. Saturday's your play day. It's not. It's a work day. So that's when we get yard work done or housework or, whatever chores. And then it's not just Saturdays. It's, during the wintertime, or the summertime, you're splitting wood and stacking wood, and in the wintertime, you're bringing that wood up on the porch every day because we burned it every day. I remember someone gave us, or we went and got a bunch of walnuts, bags and bags of walnuts, which was great. We all loved walnuts and having cookies with walnuts in them, but we had to shell all of those walnuts, and that job primarily fell to us boys. We had a brick wall out in the front of one of the houses we lived in, the first house that my parents owned. That was broken down, but the bricks were really nice, and they had, they were good quality to them, and so my dad wanted to reuse them, so we broke up the wall, and he was going to reuse them by building a new wall, and so he paid us 5 cents a brick to chip away all of the old mortar. And at first we thought, yes, we saw all those bricks and the money it represented, and we went to town, starting to chip away all of the mortar that was on the brick and get a good clean brick they can reuse it for the new wall. But then we realized how tedious of a job that was. So it got old really fast, but we had to finish the job. It took days. Nobody likes discipline while you're going through it. We're having to learn a work ethic. We're having to learn to endure. And many of the trials of our life are like that. And initially, Uh, Thankfully, they're fairly short in duration, and you get to the end of them and you say, yeah, you got a reward and so on. And you just go through it. We all learn that in school. You have to study, you have to complete tasks, you have to meet deadlines. It's discipline. We learn it in order to be successful in life. This is no different with our spiritual journey, and God knows this. God knows this. And with Israel, we derive two areas of hope when we're going through a difficult time. And certainly now we are going through a difficult time in our world. And all of us are experiencing the fatigue of the trial, the fatigue of the discipline. Nobody likes going through it when you're going through it. So what hope do we draw from during times like this? What hope did God give Israel when he was telling them, you're about to go through a tremendous discipline, one that's going to last 70 years. And when you come back, it's never going to be quite the same as it was before. But so in those times, where do we draw hope? Where do we draw strength? Where do we draw a sense of trust? How do we dispel fear and that fatigue that might lead to giving up, I guess, at some level? Where do we draw our hope from? Two areas. One is the past. How has God delivered us in the past? How has God brought about salvation in the past? By the way, I apologize. I'm not recognizing anybody this morning as far as your names, because no names are popping up on my phone this morning. I have no idea why. But I see numbers there that there are people actually watching this morning. So I welcome all of you, by the way, even though I can't see your names. I don't know if it's a glitch in my program or what. But I trust that you're there and you're listening. So we draw from, where do we drive our hope? When we're kind of tempted to falter in our endurance, to keep moving forward and trusting God. Number one, we draw from the past. How has God provided salvation in the past? And the longer we live in our life, and the longer we live in our spiritual journey, the more we can draw from and pull forward when we're going through a difficult time. And we have to look back. How has God been faithful to deliver me in the past? And sometimes when you're in the moment, you can get hyper-focused on the moment, and it's a discipline in and of itself to sit and recall how God has been with you in the past, how God has not forsaken you. He's delivered you in the past, and you've gotten through that difficult time. That's the first way we draw hope. And that's one of the good practices of journaling. I often can go back and look at older journals or the previous entries in the journal that I currently own to draw from the past and how God has revealed himself to me in those ways. But the other way that we derive hope, and it's a way that's repeated all through the scriptures, is that we look to the future. The promises of God fulfilled. That God has made a promise. He has demonstrated his character, that he will follow through, and he will one day fulfill that hope. And so that's where we are in Isaiah chapter 12. God has revealed to Israel, northern kingdom is currently going to be taken away, or it's already recently happened. I'm not sure exactly in the context, but Isaiah is also saying there's going to come a day where the southern kingdom also will go through this very same thing. But at the end of it all, there will be deliverance. There will be salvation. And so God keeps revealing through Isaiah to the nation about this future time. God has not forsaken you. You are still his children. He's allowing you to go through this time of testing and discipline so that at the end he will bring you back, he will deliver you, and so on. This is Isaiah chapter 12, verse 1. He says this: you will say in that day of deliverance, that future day, I will give thanks to you, O Lord, For though you were angry with me, your anger turned away, that you might comfort me. Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and will not be afraid. The Lord God is my strength and my song, and he has become my salvation. So in that day, I will trust and not be afraid. Right now, we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and we fear no evil. Why? Because we believe in faith that God is with us. Now, God is invisible. He is spirit, right? So we believe this in faith. Hebrews chapter 11 says faith is believing a promise and being confident in something we have not seen. So that's the walk of faith we have when we're going through the trial. But at the end, when God delivers us, we have this hope that God will, at that point, have brought us through. And so that hope allows us to look forward to the promise fulfilled. This is why the New Testament is so full of references of eternal life, of this millennial kingdom that God's going to set up, of the reward for obedience, the reward for righteousness, a time when every tear is going to be wiped away. There's not going to be any sense of sorrow. This is God's promises for us who believe. So when we're going through a difficult time now, today, a trial, a discipline, and God is teaching us endurance, he's developing our character. It's necessary for us to go through difficult times and trials, whether it is the natural consequence of bad choices on our behalf, or oftentimes it's just living in a fallen world and living in an uncertain time, and we are put in a position to have to endure whatever it is. God allows this so that we can develop a maturity, that we would be perfect and complete, not lacking anything. Every human being has to develop this maturity, this endurance by going through difficult times. It's how all of us mature. God knows this. He loves us. He allows it, as painful as it is, so that when the deliverance comes, we can rejoice. And we look forward to that day when God delivers us. Right now, we're enduring so much with regard to this pandemic and its uncertainties. One day, we'll look back and say, remember that pandemic? I mean, look in our own lifetime and how many times we've faced very difficult things. We're still here. And we can look back and say, wow, look how God helped us. Look how God delivered us. This is not going to be any different than that. And one day God will come and return and fulfill all of his promises. And on that day, we'll never not be in his presence again. And that day will be glorious. And we look forward to that, so that today we can endure. So I love Christmas season, the Advent, but remember, it's not only about the birth of Christ, it's about his promised return. Let us keep our hope fixed upon that glorious day when all of this will be behind us. So let's stay faithful, walk this path of obedience and endurance that God has us on today, and rejoice and trust in him that he has not left us nor forsaken us. So God bless you today. And we will see you on Monday. And let me say this before I sign off, that, Amador County, we've been put into the purple. And then, of course, our greater region is in a shutdown because of the ICU beds being full. And so because of that, we've made a decision a few weeks ago in anticipation of this as a leadership, that we would go ahead and move to an online-only service. So this upcoming Sunday, we will not have in-person worship services. We will go online. However, everyone who is scheduled to be a part of our worship service on stage, we're still going to be there live and in person. That means our children's program this Sunday, we're not canceling it. We're going to move forward with that. But we're going to enjoy that from the comfort of your own home as you watch it online. So we know this is so hard. This is so hard for all of us. We long to be together. We long for all this to be behind us. And for whatever reason, God has deemed it that we continue for a little bit longer. And we can do this. We can do this if we draw together and we encourage one another and stay the course. So this Sunday, we are worshiping from our homes, watching the services online at 10:30. But make sure you tune in because we have our special children's program this Sunday. You're not going to want to miss that. So God bless you, and we will see you on Sunday, if not on Monday morning.